And we're live, folks.
Fantastic. Welcome, everyone.
Hey, appreciate you having me, and great meeting everyone on the panel.
Absolutely. I want to acknowledge Moji Soniiki. I'm not saying I'm butchering your name, forgive me. But you'll give it the proper Nigerian inflection. Me, I'm a Ghanaian. I can't say the words perfectly, but no, my heart is in the right place anyway. Today is Moji's birthday. In addition to being the founder and executive director of the African Film and Arts Foundation, I want to just acknowledge you and all the work that you and your team have done to put this on, the second annual African Film and Arts Foundation Film Festival. The African Film and Arts Foundation is a nonprofit 501c3 media arts organization based in Atlanta, and their mission is to magnify and celebrate the visions, voices, lives, and stories of people from Africa and the diaspora. They execute, in fact, I'm on the board, I'm pleased to be on the board. We execute our mission by producing two main events: Cinema for the Culture, which is a monthly film screening and conversation session with filmmakers, and this program, the African Film Festival Atlanta, which is a 3-day festival showcasing films from around the world. Our theme this year is redefining the African voice, one story at a time. And being responsible for highlighting the brilliance of new and emerging filmmakers is a feat that we are committed to being at the forefront of. This festival offers the opportunity to support ever-growing African film, particularly the community in Atlanta. And as you all know, Atlanta has a significant amount of African immigrants and is reputed to be the third largest settlement for Africans in the United States. That's not a small thing. Coupled with the fact that Atlanta is the epicenter of the film industry in Georgia, a state that produces the largest quantity of film in the United States, it is a homegrown African Film Festival in Atlanta that is long overdue. So we're proud to be here. My name is Judith Aidoo. I'm actually half American, half Ghanaian. I'm in Bermuda, which is just off the coast of North Carolina. So we're gonna go around to our filmmakers. Please say your name, your film, and where you are. Let's just go around. We'll do this quickly, and then we'll keep going. Thank you so much. Frederick, you wanna start with you?
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on. Frederick Hawthorne. I have a film entitled 9 Wives, and I currently reside in Los Angeles, California.
You're most welcome. Thank you. Anyone can just go next, please.
My name is Ryan Singh. My film is H.E.N.R.I, and I'm in Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
Thank you. Mutu, you want to go next, and we end with Our Lady? Abbesi? Mutu, okay. Can you hear?
He might be frozen.
He may be frozen.
He's frozen.
Okay. Abbesi, go ahead, please.
Hi, everyone. My name is Abba Siakami. I am a Nigerian-American filmmaker currently based in Washington, D.C. area, in Northern Virginia, to be precise. And my short film is The Couple Next Door.
Mutu, please say your name, where you are.
All right. Here we go. Hi, everybody. I'm so happy to be here. Lovely to meet everybody. Thanks for having us in the festival. My name is Irungu Mutu. I am the writer-director of Leading Isiolo, and I am in Nairobi, Kenya.
Thank you all. I just want to start. We'll go in the same order, or we can switch it up. It's really easy. Just tell us how your project came about. I've gotten a chance to see all the movies. Congratulations to you all. I produce films and plays, and anybody, if you produce a minute worth of content, hats off to you. It's not as easy as it looks. So God bless you all. Congratulations for having the ability to not only start to have the idea, but to manifest it and to have submitted it in this festival and have been chosen to represent your work. It's really a beautiful thing. So congratulations to you all. Tell us each, just briefly, kind of one thing that you want people to know about your movie and how it came about. So Frederick, you want to start?
Yeah, my film is entitled 9 Wives, and it tells the story of Malcolm X and him being correct about Elijah Muhammad being a pedophile and how he abused and manipulated and used Islam and the Quran for his personal benefits. And I'm just a strong believer that the truth prevails. You know, a lie moves a little bit quicker, but the truth definitely goes to perpetuity. And I'm just a huge Malcolm X guy in terms of his masculinity. I was born in Harlem. I was actually born in the same hospital where he was pronounced dead. And I just think it's important that we as a community stand on truth as opposed to folklore and tradition. And I think it's just incredibly important that people view Nine Wives from an honest vernacular, and honor Malcolm in terms of what he said about Elijah Muhammad. And more importantly, this film is told from the perspective of the victim, which has never been done before. It's only been told from the eyes of the principal males. So for the first time on screen, you'll see the woman tell her story and her cathartically go through her pain from being a victim to a shero. So it's an incredible tale. It's all firsthand accounts. Traveled all across America doing interviews from Nation of Islam members to Muhammad Ali's wife to the national secretary. The only person I didn't interview was probably Louis Farrakhan as it pertains to this film. So I stand on every letter, every syllable, every word that is in this film as being 100% factual.
Frederick, on that point, before we move to somebody else, I think it's obviously a very powerful topic. You're going to get a lot of strong reactions, as you probably already have. Just for those of us here, what has been the most surprising reaction you've gotten so far to the film?
The amount of black men that say we love women, say we love children, and still call Elijah Muhammad honorable. That bothers me, and and just women in general, because I believe in the butterfly effect. Hurt people, you know. So that's what astonished me, that men would rather belong to a group, Nation of Islam, Democrat, your fraternity group, than stand on truth. You know what I mean? And that's the biggest thing that I've taken from this film, that people are comfortable living a lie, you know, accepting social doctrine. You know, truth has no friends. I realized that, you know, I've lost quite a few relationships because of this film, and I'm proud I did.
Well, we're grateful you cleave to the truth.
Yes.
That's a leadership position. We understand the cost of leadership, and so we acknowledge you for tackling such a, you know, in some ways explosive topic. You know, when you go there, you know you're going next to fire.
Right.
So, you know, you're a certain kind of brother. We're going to unpack who you are, you know, who your people are, because you can't be shy and go to that place. So we acknowledge your courage and your tenacity to tell that story.
Thank you.
Abbesi, I think that's how you say your name. Okay, so please tell us about your film, The Neighbor Next Door, and The Couple Next Door, rather, and how you came to make it, what it's really about for people who haven't had a chance to see it, and what inspired you to tell this particular story. Thank you.
Thank you. Also, thank you all so much for having me. I'm so happy to participate virtually and share the film. And the African Film Festival Atlanta really has opened up this to me in this world, to more audiences, I should say. So thank you all for having me. My short film, The Couple Next Door, was made through a fellowship program I was in called Creative Culture, based out of New York City area. And it follows a 41-year-old single unmarried woman who at this moment in her life encounters an eccentric African couple that moves in next door to her. And she begins to grapple with her feelings of desire in such a way, you know, I don't want to give the film away, so I'm trying to figure out a way to say without giving the whole story away. But that's basically it in a nutshell, is that she's a single woman and there's an eccentric African couple that moves in next door, and the husband starts to kind of creep in around her, and she begins to grapple with her feelings of desire. And I was inspired to tell this story. For me, inspiration comes from a lot of different places. I can't even pinpoint when and where it happened, but I know I was traveling to Nigeria quite a bit. And I guess just to be a Nigerian American here, and then also going back home in a way, there's a lot of, it brings about a lot of, I guess, nuances and relationships and the differences between the community, immigrant communities here and the way things are done back home. So I think from there sprouted this idea of relationships. Yeah, so nothing hugely interesting, but I pull from a lot of different places.
Thank you so much for that. Ryan, please tell us about your film and what inspired you to make it.
Hi, thank you very much for having me. And I really appreciate being a part of this film festival, the African Film Festival of Atlanta. I wanted to make a short film. My son had an opportunity to do a short film, and I forced myself to get him into the union. He didn't end up getting in time for the short film that we wanted to make, but as a result of that, I decided to write a short film, and I included my two kids. I have twins who were 6 at the time, they're 9 now, who I employed to engage to write with me. So we have a co-written production, co-produced with them, and starting to pass the reign of, we got to teach our children and give them options as to what they can become when they grow up. And so I looked at their relationship with Alexa when we brought it home for the first time, and seeing how they started to have these conversations with Alexa. And I was like, okay, this would be a simple enough story to tell. And so I started writing it by myself, and then I saw the opportunity to say, hey, why don't you guys tell me what you would want to say to Alexa in a story like this? And so they came aboard and started to give me ideas. My daughter was even very particular in negotiating. Since she's a producer, she's negotiating how she wants to be called, because I had initially Simon and Simone. And she's like, nope, I do not want to be called Simone. I want to be called Sophie, which is ironic because once we were into editing the film, I noticed on YouTube that there's an AI that is called Sophie that people interview, and it was just so interesting. And what's the best part of this process is that working with a director, you know, she was very particular and very painstakingly detailed. And so we spent the entirety of 2020 during the pandemic, because we ended up doing the post-production ourselves with a team of people and just managing that whole post-production workflow. This is my first time working on a sci-fi kind of project. And so I had some visual effects as part of this whole process. And I had to take it all the way to India to get some of that visual effects done. And so we had about 30 people, 90%, 95% of them were BIPOC people. 60% of them, of us were female producers. 50% was women in a leadership role in any of the key creative roles. And so I wanted to make sure that I celebrate diversity and inclusion in a major way with this storytelling. And so we had over a dozen people who had their first credit in any given role or first credit overall in the film business. And so this is what H.E.N.R.I was all about for us.
Thank you. Wonderful. Actually, lots of interesting points there. We'll come back to you. Mutu has joined us back. He's in Nairobi. We're grateful you're trying. Mutu, the question was, you know, what inspired you to make your movie? And that's really the gist of it. What inspired you to make your movie, and what has been the reaction to it so far?
Mutu, before you answer, do not put your camera on the blurred background, because that's eating up a lot of your bandwidth. So if you take it off the blur, it will allow you to stream better.
Okay, thank you, Ryan. Thank you. I think I'll fix the situation. There's a big outage in Nairobi, in where I live. So sorry about that. What inspired me, Judith, was I left Nairobi when I was young, a teenager, and I've been coming back for the past 10 years, since 2010, every like Christmas and New Year's. And I've been in America for a long time, and I consider myself an immigrant. I luckily became a citizen a few years ago, but I'm always fascinated by the migration of different people and why they settle. So every time I come back to Kenya, I've been noticing like I'm always fascinated by the Somali community, by the Ugandan community. And I have a lot of Chinese American friends in the US, a lot of Chinese friends. And I just was fascinated by this new space that was occurring in Nairobi of this new Chinese immigrants. So in 2010 is when kind of this seed was spurred. I was going up country with my family. And then in 2016, I wrote a feature, which is a love story. So Leaving Isiolo, the short, is a love story between a Kenyan businesswoman and a Chinese immigrant. And they fall in love. And in this short film, you meet them at this point where they want to go start their new life together. She's quit her job working for a drug dealer. He's quit his job working for this terrible boss at a mining company. And I went into the Chinese community here in Nairobi. It was one of the hardest casting sessions I've ever done. I'm an actor by trade, so it was so incredibly difficult to go and talk to people and try to pitch them to be in this proof of concept, really. So that was the inspiration, Judith, was just trying to understand immigrants. I love immigrants. They get stuff done. Just trying to see, hey, man, what are you guys up to?
Yeah, on that point, because it's I don't know that I've seen it in quite this way. I've actually seen documentaries about Africans in China. And of course, I've run into, and some of you may have seen films about Africans in Italy or Africans in the United States. We see that all the time, but never sort of the Chinese immigrant in Africa. And as you see, note in East Africa, of course, many people, you look at road building is almost like a, port building has become almost like a Chinese sectors, the fishing industry. So if you go to certain sectors, you'll see a lot of, in fact, even in the markets. I think even in Ghana, there was a little bit of trouble because we're supposed to leave certain occupations for local people. And I think somebody's even making jollof rice in the market in Ghana that's Chinese. So that then becomes a whole conversation, what is off limits, what's acceptable. So it's very interesting to see that perspective. What kind of feedback have you gotten so far? Anything surprising from people who've seen your film, Mutu?
Absolutely. So that was a space that I was creating it too, Judith, just by watching this incredible new immigrant community coming in. The feedback from people has been very positive. Just like you said, the Burial of Kojo by the incredible Ghanaian director Blitz, the ambassador, has this beautiful section where there's a narrative of a Chinese mining company. And I really wasn't so much fascinated in the geopolitical negotiations between Beijing and Accra, Joburg, Nairobi. I was just interested in two people who happened to fall in love in completely random circumstances. So the feedback has been very positive. Yeah, people are like, I've never seen this before. Oh my God, I've always wondered about this. How did you go about finding the lead actor or the lead actress? And how did you translate? Like, where did you get the actors from? How did you translate the script? It's been completely positive and really refreshing to hear that it's like a thing that people want to see. And yeah.
Thank you for that. Really interesting topic. Frederick, when you talk about finding actors, I mean, Mutu just sort of alluded to that. You have some beautiful, beautiful actors in your movie. Can you tell us how you found them? And also just talk to us a little bit about the technical setup. Who's your director of photography, how you found them, what your look was, what you were trying to really feel, but some beautiful, beautiful images and beautiful, beautiful Black people in your film.
Yeah, all that was intentional too. I wanted as deep a melanin as I could to project off of the screen so people can internalize like their Blackness versus controlled stimuli, that being religion, that being trauma that she's gone through. And I wanted that pain to run deep in people. You know what I mean? So the actor's skin tone was very, very intentional. And and dark skin versus red is a beautiful contrast, you know, and I wanted that to play out in the film. And because of COVID, I was able to look within, you know. I've done films in the past. I've been successful. I'm Emmy nominated in terms of projects. So I've had the ability to see things, and people wasn't working, you know, and it was a 1-day shoot, 8-hour shoot. We did that in 8 hours, yo. And because the team was very professional. Everyone was a professional actor except the doctor. And because of my disciplines and how I run ship, I went in with the schedule, and the schedule went doom 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 doom. We did a shot list with the with the production team, and it was sensational, man. And I'm grateful to the team. The team was extraordinary. My producer, Miss Everything, Patty Dean, was sensational. So when I went to go direct, everything was laid out. Actors, makeup, everyone was in makeup, costume design. The set was made, and she did an extraordinary job. So I can just come in and just focus on the scene, and making every scene is so tight, man. Oh man, there's no filibustering, and there's no ha funny moment. You have to make a decision at the end of this 15 minutes on truth, you know. And I'm just elated and excited that this film came to fruition. You know, really quick, I lied so much to myself as it pertains to the Nation of Islam, because you see them in the community and you don't want to uproot things, and you don't want to. But when I hear like men like Louis Farrakhan, and you go through history, and you know, you hear Malcolm X is a hypocrite, and then he also said such a man is worthy of death. 2 months later, Malcolm X is murdered, excuse me. And I think our oral history and our artistic history needs to be filled with truth. You know, BMF is running amok, you know. And I think it's important that we get back to telling our stories from an authentic space, you know. And I believe every story deserves to be told. There is a space for BMF, but I also believe that our stories about our heroes and our authentic history needs to be told. And Nine Wives is man, it's my best work. It really is, because it was a cathartic experience for me. I lived as a Muslim for 6-7 months. I abstained from sex. I ate 1 meal a day. You know, the film was so intense that every time my phone rang, my daughter would say, "Is that Malcolm X calling?" And because Malcolm X is a holiday in my house every year. May 19th is basically like a holiday in the Hawthorne household. And I'm proud of myself. You know, I went to visit Malcolm's grave. I flew out, and I went to go visit, because ironically enough, Khalid Muhammad and Malcolm X are buried about 2 football fields away from each other. And so I went to visit both of them, and I felt the sense of like I did it. You know what I'm saying? And that was my trip to Mecca. And there's more to come. And so it's going to be stuff built around it, not in sequential order, but we're going to pull this character out and tell that side of the story. The wives are still alive, you know. This is live, right? Okay, no, I can't talk about that. But okay, well, I can't talk about that side because
Okay.
When Farrakhan dies, a lot of stuff is gonna come out. I'll just say that, you know. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I'm just happy. I'm just happy that the film is amazing. It's honest. I stand on it.
Mhm.
I'm inspired by the death threats I get. I'm inspired by the naysayers. And you know.
Well, we want to make sure you stay very much alive.
Oh, I have no concerns about that.
Yeah, but I put that out there, you know.
Yeah.
So we're gonna wrap you. We're gonna wrap you in prayer, hold you up.
Thank you.
And but I think whenever you tell these strong stories, and you know, I think, you know, America at this time, I'm a little bit removed from the States at the present time, because I'm spending a lot of time in Africa and in, you know, outside of the United States. So, you know, some of us look at wonder. I was born in Washington, D.C. My parents met at Howard, but you know, I'm taking some space just to observe, and the violence, both in the rhetoric and in practice, is breathtaking, even for those of us who grew up in America. So it's not surprising that people would threaten you. But can I also say, interestingly enough, when you shine the light of truth on anything political, I was in Ghana a week ago, and if you say something that's considered controversial, you will get death threats there too. So it's not, I'm seeing that this is a universal dynamic. That's why I want to call it out as such. So anybody who wants to tell the truth in this current dispensation should expect to have some blowback, and it'll come from the most unlikely places, from the church to the mosque to the university to the street to, you know, it's holistic. So it's an interesting dynamic. It's something that, you know, for truth tellers, filmmakers, storytellers, what stories do you tell, when, how, why, in order to get the message? It's a very powerful topic. Abbesi, what do you want to say about this in terms of, you know, your technical setup, how you chose to shoot the film, any blowback you gotten of any kind, or anything surprising, doesn't have to be bad, any beautiful things that have come out of your telling this particular story that you want to share with both the panel and those watching?
Yeah, I'm always just surprised the reaction that people have from the film, because I'm very much a perfectionist. So anybody who knows me, I definitely come from a background of like you pushing. Yeah, so I'm just very much a perfectionist. And so I put out this little film and I'm just like, it's not gonna do much or anything. But then it's so heartwarming when people are just like, we love the film and it was so beautiful. I was definitely inspired by Chinese filmmaker Wong Kar-wai, or some people may say Wong Kar-wai. Beautiful, beautiful filmmaker in the work that he creates, and the tension that he has on film and making relationships. And I was like, why don't I see this in like with African people in the diaspora? And I'm like, we have so much history and culture and so much interesting dynamics with relationships. And I was like, I would love to see something like this on screen. So I was like, I'm gonna try. And this is what came out of it. So people's reactions are pretty interesting. Like some people may say, oh my goodness, that line that she says at the end, oh, it got me. And I'm like, I don't remember where I got that line from, but it's in your memory. It's somehow in your fiber, in your blood or something. And I don't remember where I got the line from, but it came from within me and it stayed from the initial script all the way to the finished product. And I was like, is this the right line? I remember asking people, is there something better that I can use? What can be that I'm trying to evoke here? And I'm so glad that it was this line I used, because I don't know if I should say it, but for people who haven't seen the film, watch it, because at the end, she says this one line that really gets people all the time. And it's interesting because I love just the different perceptions wherever you may be based. Like if you're someone who's based in on the continent, or if you're someone based in the diaspora, or you're just from a completely different ethnic group or culture, it all means something. It means something different. Like if I'm talking to American people, they're going to be like, oh my goodness, is this something typical that goes on and happens there? But if I'm talking with African people, it's a totally different dynamic. So I absolutely love it. I love getting in there and showing the nuances and bringing to light. So sorry to hurry this up. The crew was great. It was a labor of love. Shout out to all of them. They come through every single time that I need them there. And we're not making these films for a lot of money. It's definitely through the crew and labor of love that this film came to fruition. So yeah, I think I hit everything.
Yeah, Abbesi, since you raised the issue of funding, we're gonna go around. I'll go next to Mutu and then Ryan. What was your budget, if you don't mind saying, for the aspiring filmmaker? What did you, roughly speaking, you're not gonna, obviously you got a lot of stuff for free, everybody does, but out of pocket, hard money, what did you need in hand in order to make this movie, roughly speaking, order of magnitude?
Yeah, I'll be as transparent as possible because I like people to be transparent too. You're right that it was a lot of not crew that wasn't paid, actors who volunteered their time. It was about like a 3-day shoot, and it was hard. I would say like out of pocket money, probably spent somewhere between like around $3,000, not counting all of the labor that I got for free. Not counting that stuff, then we'd be talking in the $10,000 range. I had mentioned earlier that the fellowship program that I was in at the time, Creator Culture, they supplied the camera that we shot on, and they supplied the equipment. So those things up the cost. So again, I'm very appreciative of organizations that help out filmmakers, diverse filmmakers with underserved voices like mine, because otherwise I do not know I don't have that kind of money. And that $3,000 that I paid wasn't easy. So my parents helped me, everybody kind of chipped in. So yeah.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. I think I used to license movies. I used to have something might be even familiar with, something called the Uptown Movie Network. About 10, 15 years ago, we used to license Black movies from the major studios, and we would put them on broadcast TV in the United States once a month. So think of it like sort of the movie of the month club. And we had hosts that would do those movies. And I actually started making movies, and I saw what it takes to make a compelling story. If you can make that story for that kind of money, my sister, you have the brightest of futures. And I want to really encourage you, because it is and it's actually a testament, because I always tell young filmmakers come to me, and Ghana, for example, is trying to reinvigorate its film industry. So I'm on one of these panels, and I get these budgets. I need $1 million to tell the story in Accra. I'm like, come on, y'all. You don't really need $1 million. I've made movies, so I can say it with love. But it's so great to see your movie. And even though you had camera and stuff donated and other time and resources donated, that is an extraordinary product at that price, full stop. So your talent is extraordinary. It's like somebody can take a beat made in their closet and sell 1 million records. That's called talent. It's not luck, it's talent. So I really want to encourage you. And I will tell your story to other filmmakers who think they need real budgets. If they don't get blessed with $500,000, they can't tell a story. Mutu mentioned Blitz. I'm going to come to you in a second. I actually happen to know Blitz. He's from Ghana, as you all know, Ghanaian American. Met him in Brooklyn when I first made my first movie, Blackout, 13 years ago. Blitz, his DP, Sean Peters, was the one who introduced me to Blitz, and I ended up, his first movie was something called Native Son. If you ever get a chance. In fact, Blitz is a rapper. But before he was a rapper, I didn't realize it. Blitz actually is an artist. And so, when Frederick was talking about literally planning every single shot, Blitz literally did the storyboards physically by hand for every single shot in the burial of Kojo. So his mind is meticulous. And he knows how to tell a story. He knows how to, so if you study some of these guys, he started off really making videos for cheap. Then he made Native Son, was about 20, 30 minutes. And I chipped in a little bit of money and got producer credit for it. And then he's gone on steadily. So I want people to really, again, see these examples. His work ethic is second to none. That is his superpower. Work ethic is sick. So anyway, just to inspire others who hope to make these kinds of movies, it's amazing what you can do step by step by step with almost nothing but talent and vision and the will to actually finish. So I want to acknowledge all filmmakers. Mutu, can you talk a little bit about your budget and any moments that for you were really pivotal in getting it done, making it complete? making your film complete? So first budget, and then the
budget.
Any magic moments, any miracles.
Golden budget, the B word. So 2019, I was in LA and I was pitching the feature scripts to a lot of people, right? And I was like, I can't make this. I've written this for so long. We're in the 5th draft, me and my producer in Brooklyn. And I just want to give a shout out that this short film, and as we all know, films are nothing without a collaboration. This short film is nothing without Louis Terrier, my Brooklyn producer, Wanzilu Maingi, who is in Atlanta now. Actually, she's in Savannah, my Kenyan producer, and my DP, Joanne Poggio from Colombia. So I just want to give a shout out to them. So in 2019, and then I turned it into a 15-page script. I was like, I can shoot this. And then my mentor was like, Irogo, instead of making a sizzle reel, why don't you just take these 3 scenes, string a narrative that makes sense, and shoot that? And I was like, oh, that's brilliant. And so I went to Kenya in early 2020, right at the beginning of COVID. And we started shooting. We shot for 3 days in February, 1 day in August last year. And we were incredibly lucky because of my lead actor is Chinese and he got affected by COVID, his business in Kenya. But to answer your question, the budget was between 6.5 and 7.5 thousand, right? So that's just production. Then there was post-production, which we did in LA. We did picture cutting, and then we did sound cutting in New York City. And then we finished the movie this year here in Nairobi at my DP is an incredible studio, Joanne Poggio. So the biggest snag was casting. Yeah, it was, I've never shot a film before. I was so excited to come here to Kenya to shoot this, to learn the community here. I've been working in the States as a actor on stage, TV, film for like over a dozen years. But I've wanted to come home, Judith. I've wanted to come home so bad and make something with my people. And it was so good to parachute in and pay everybody, right? I made a point, my Brooklyn producer, Louis, said, Irogo, pay everybody, pay yourself, do not pay for camera gear, pay the cameraman. And I live and die by that because we wanted a female cinematographer. We got a cinematographer called Joanne, who we thought was a female Kenyan, long story. And he killed it and he's amazing. And the actors, we had an open call for the Kenyan actress, then callback for the Kenyan actress. Hundreds of people came. It was really incredible. But again, for the Chinese community, I went to the University of Nairobi. I went to the Confucius Center, which is the best place to look for anything Chinese, and through that angle. So that's the answer for the budget. And the shooting schedule was 3 days, like I said. Yeah.
Yeah, and a beautiful film, beautifully shot. So kudos to you and your team again. And it's just, I think this is a very powerful conversation for anybody who's ever wanted to make anything. Clearly, we have many examples on this panel of people making magic with, it's what, 5 feeding the multitude with 5 loaves and 2 fish, something like that. So congratulations. Ryan, let's talk to you about your budget. And I know you said you got a lot of collaboration from your producing children, which I think I love, just bringing the next generation, empowering them to have agency and to create is, I think, so powerful. Talk to us about your budget and also the sci-fi elements, because it was really lovely. I mean, very, very well done. Can you tell us a little bit about your budget and any other miracles that you think? You mentioned you got a lot of posts done in India. Just walk us through kind of what did it take to make this film? Thank you.
Absolutely. My first challenge was getting the director, and I collaborated with my director, Katarzyna Kochany, who even though she's European, she's an immigrant, and she is very sensitive to the immigrant experience and BIPOC experience. And so one of the things she did was she called up a multitude of her network who were BIPOC voices. And everyone that wanted to be a part of this production was like, we haven't made a BIPOC sci-fi film before, and we want to be a part of it. My other collaborator was Colin Colin Walcott, who works in a lot of high budget Star Wars, Star Trek type productions where he's locked in by a bunch of NDAs. And so he's not able to share any of the work he does in those realms. But we had gone to Barbados a couple of years, a year or 2 years earlier, and we had built a bond. So I said, you know, we can build a film together and we can showcase each other's talent. And he says, when I'm finished with this work, bro, you're going to be spending about you're going to have a film that's cost $100,000, but you wouldn't have spent that much. Needless to say, after we have completed the film now, my other actor, Andrea Grant, who plays the mom, she wanted to have a demo reel, and so she came on, and I said, no, why produce a demo reel when you can produce a passport to get yourselves into film festival? And so instead of a demo reel, now you have a tool that showcases you, and you're not just showcasing a demo reel, you're showcasing your work. And she came on as a producer. She also we shot it in her home. And so she had a young baby that she kept in the basement, and her family stayed upstairs, and we spent roughly about 16 hours in her house. Altogether, I think between the talent, the contribution of all of our crew and so on, I would say it was an easily $250,000 film. Because of how much time my director was spending on the project, I ended up paying her out of pocket for some of the work she contributed. As producers, myself and the 3 actors, my kids and Andrea, we deferred our payment into the production. We still had to pay the union because we went union with this production. We still had to pay the union our fringe benefits. And that was over $1,000 in of itself for a 1-day shoot. And part of the production is the marketing. I hired a publicist so that she can get us around, and we've had over 100 hits of interviews and so on, including Entertainment Tonight, Canada. But you know, that's an investment. So altogether, we may have invested roughly about $10,000 to $15,000 of hard cash between everyone I was paying, any deferred hard cash payment we deferred. Those was about $10,000 to $15,000, but the value of the production based on everyone's contribution, because I see everyone as being an investor in the production. Just because they didn't get paid didn't mean they didn't bring value.
Of course. No, I think that's well said. I think that's a great point. Was there,
India,
please.
India, I worked with Colin. Colin had a number of deaths due to COVID and that sort of thing, so he couldn't devote his time into completing the post-production. He rendered us the initial imagery that we wanted to capture, but then we were able to work with a visual effects artist, Caitlin Salmon, who did an amazing amount of work over 3 months, and then she couldn't complete it. I can see when people are waning. You know, there's so much that they can have, and then you see that they're spiraling because it's so much work, and I didn't realize how much work it was. Then I called Akash Singh from India, and he amassed a team of people for a fraction of the price of that I would pay in North America. And it took a team of his people to do the work that Caitlin was trying to do by herself, because visual effects, and what you saw in terms of the visual effects, when you see the film, you see that module on the wall. That whole thing is a recreated visual effects. I think we had 13 frames. The opening sequence, Adrian Bob, he came in, and he's an amazing artist himself. And these are names you're gonna see again happening. All of these people came and just donated their time to making this thing happen as much as they possibly could.
Ryan, on that point, 2 quick questions. One, the India team to do that whole team? Can you get us a sense, you don't have to give it to the dollar, but order of magnitude for them to do that work? What was that out of pocket, or what's the fee, whether you paid it or not? What did they need in order to, so people have a sense of what it costs to make these kinds of movies?
I'm in I'll give you a reference. I'm in season 5 of the Expanse, and you see this asteroid falling to Earth and burning up this fisherman. It was a simple scene. It was probably about 10-15 seconds, maybe 30 seconds long, just about. That was $1 million. They did about 2.5 minutes, maybe less, about 1.5 minutes of frame for me. And that I probably paid about $3,000-4,000.
Yep. No, wonderful.
Right. So I'm giving you a side-by-side comparison.
I got it. Absolutely got it. And in fact, I'm inspired by this conversation overall. Maybe we have to add a session next time on how to make a movie. Literally from being super tight and planning to, what you can trade, where you can get sci-fi or, kind of a tech, skills in whether in Africa or India or elsewhere. These are all tools that I think people can use. We don't all have to reinvent the wheel, we can share some of those insights. Are really amazing. I want to go actually right now to Frederick and just ask, we didn't ask about your budget, I don't believe, but if you want to share anything about your budget. It was a one-day shoot, which, by the way, for anybody who makes movies, a one-day shoot for that film is crazy. I don't know how you did it, but we're going to learn in another setting. Tell us what it costs to do it, and any words of wisdom for aspiring filmmakers. And then we want to talk about what it means to be an immigrant, whether you're originally from the South, moving to Cali, or you're from Kenya, moving to the US, or, somewhere to Canada. Just let's talk about that, being the outsider, what that does to your storytelling. But first, Frederick, what did it take for you to do that one-day shoot? Please, out of pocket, roughly. About
20,000. And because of the travel, like I had to travel to Detroit, I had to travel to Chicago. The talent, I paid them honest wages. The preparation in it, man, my spiritual commitment to this project really came through, really came through. And that's why we did it in 8 hours, man. And I would say to any filmmaker, do the film that you envision. Do not cut nothing off. Cut your arm off if you have to. Cut your leg off if you have to. Trade in your car if you have to. Do not do a film and cut one scene out because you can't afford it. It's that important. Like the last scene of the movie was produced in that day. But the only way that gets produced in that day is if I don't commit those 6 months to this project and I have 10,000 conversations with my friends about this project. You understand? And I kept the main thing, and 9 wives. Oh man, it's it's a testament to my commitment, and it's also to a testament that there are really people out there who truly inherently believe in your successes. You know what I mean? I didn't hold not one camera. You know what I mean? I didn't I wasn't in charge of the lines. I'm gonna get all of the credit if this film does well, and I'm talking about externally. But the team, do not I would tell every filmmaker, do not shortchange yourself because of the expense of the project. You have to make the sacrifices. And I made those sacrifices for this film. And when you get done with it, you're going to be so proud. You know what I mean? Because you're always going to have that, man, I should have said this. I should have did that. but it's not going to feel like the film isn't complete. And I just strongly encourage everybody, do what your heart tells you to do as it pertains to filmmaking, and you're going to be better off because of it. You know, if it takes you 2 years, take the 2 years, you know, develop the money. Don't rush and do it. It took me a year to do this film, you know, in terms of mental conception and then actual practice. The whole quarantine, you know, like I metamorphed into this guy that I had to be. I had to be absolute. I had to be an honest human being. And it took time to get there, you know. And I have demons in my life. And when I got to that space, like I wrote the script in one day, but I thought it for 11 months. You get what I'm saying? And it's just powerful. I had one edit on this script. And the actress, she did 3 training sets. We did 3 sessions together. And
Yep.
oh, it was, I mean, her acting, that's her first acting job in history.
Amazing. Please remind us of her name. And I see we're running out of time, but I want you to at least say her name. She did an extraordinary job.
Brianna Michelle is simply amazing. She's one of the most physically, aesthetically beautiful women you've ever seen in your life. As the Taylor said, she got the boom and the bow, you know what I mean? And but her grace, you know, and her story, like she was the victim at one point. You understand, as it pertains to domestic violence and RAPE, you know, and I knew that going in. So she had no idea that for a year I was having conversations with her. And then the last 60 days of the project, I says, do you want to play this role? And we were doing an interview together and she got it. It clicked in her head in the interview. She says, you were preparing me for this role. I said, you got it. You got it.
Beautiful.
You got it. And she's extraordinary.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
I apologize. I mean, we're running out of time. I just want to thank each and every one of you. We didn't get to the point of what it means to be an outsider, but I think this will not be the last time we get the chance to speak. I just want to personally commend you all as a fellow creative. I know what it takes. I know the sacrifice, both for you and your families and everybody who loves you and all the folk you owe money to and holding it all together and all the different personalities. So we just want to say thank you on behalf of the African Film and Arts Foundation for doing what you do, for staying true to the story, for making the film that you want to make, for overcoming all kinds of obstacles, and for seeing what most people never even think to see. So we want to commend you. Thank you so much for your time. And we look forward to talking to you again. Keep making movies, y'all. Thank you.
Movies. I appreciate all y'all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Happy birthday, Moji. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Absolutely. I'm going to log out now.
Oh, hey!
The EP.
Let me say hey. Hey, cutie. Hi. How you doing? You're not going to say hi?
You can let him, he maybe wants to introduce himself.
Do you want to introduce yourself? Go ahead.
We understand you're one of the producers, man. This is your time.
My name is Sebastian Singh.
Say it again a little bit louder.
My name is Sebastian Singh.
Sebastian Singh. Well, we're very proud of your performance. Congratulations on your hard work. We hope to see you making more movies. This is just the first. The best is yet to come.
One of the things is he is in Clement Virgo's new movie, Brother, that is coming out next year. Clement, it's great. So you know, and if you know Clement Virgo, Greenleaf, and that sort of thing, the Book of Negroes. And so
yeah, Greenleaf, for sure. Yeah.
He's doing a lot better than I am in my career.
As my mother would say, that's your investment.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah,
indeed.
So
thank
yeah,
you all.
The work is out there, and we're going to be making stuff, and you know, together. If anyone wants to reach out to me, again, you can always Google me and find out. I'm always open because we have to be that community for each other, and whatever we can do to help you, let us know.
Quickly go around and give your social media handles quickly, and then we'll jump off.
At Twin Papa 321.
Oh, okay. Say that again, Ryan.
At Twin Papa 321 on Instagram. That's the best place. Yeah.
Mutu.
Sorry, here I am. My Instagram is Iroga Mutu, just like my name says, and on Instagram and also on Twitter. And Leaving Isiolo on Instagram and on Twitter. That's where you can find out about all the amazing festivals we're getting into and all the beautiful stuff. Thank you. Thanks again, Moji.
Okay, Abbesi. Did I say that right?
Yeah, Abbesi. Oh,
That name
everybody
sounds
has a little
Ghanaian.
twang to it. It's fine.
It sounds Ghanaian, that name.
That's what everybody says. It's Nigerian.
It's Nigerian?
Yes, Edo State.
That's very interesting. There must be some, because you know the Ga people in Ghana are descendants of Yorubas in Nigeria. So they're well connected anyway. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, so you can find me, best way to find me is just typing in my name. But on Instagram is ABBMONA. So it's at Abmona.
Thank you. Frederick?
Thank you for having me, and condolences and blessings to your family and to the film festival and
Thank you.
all these artists. And I would, before I say, I would love to be an asset to anyone, you know, as it pertains to everyone on panel. I would love to follow y'all everything, you know what I mean? I think it's important that the foundation is important, and that if I see you working on a film, I know the struggles it takes to make a film. I don't know the struggles it takes to put on a film festival, but
yeah,
but I haven't done it yet. I haven't done it yet. I don't have the experience in that, but I understand the trials and tribulations that life entails. And so if I can be an asset to anybody listening, anyone on this panel, feel free. Silent Heroes, SILENTHEROS, and however I can help, you know, like for real, you know, and just one post can say, Fred, get your butt in the office and write that script. You know, seeing him with his son, you know, I too gave my son and daughter producer credits on this film, and just to know that he's thinking. But the beautiful thing is he's in Toronto and he has that mindset. So that's why that butterfly effect is so crucial. You know, now that I see it, I didn't see it, but now that he do it now, I'm a mature man. He has a little gray in his beard. Now the 25-year-old director is going to be like, I'm going to do that, you know?
Okay, thank you. Ryan, I'm curious, and I'm going to take a wild guess. Your background, your name is Ryan Singh. Don't say anything yet. You live in Canada. You have a Caribbean accent. Are you Indian Ghanese? Nailed it. I nailed it.
Yes, I'm Guyanese.
I've been asking Judith, I'm like, Judith, ask him where he's from. Ask him.
Yeah, I'm Guyanese. And you know, I've created a TV series from this project as well. So I have a 4-season project planned to execute, and I'm looking forward to making that happen, because one of the things I've noticed sharing this with all the communities is that I'll give you a quick story and I'll wrap up. I share this with a group of young people, 7 to 13, and the Indo-Canadian children who can still see themselves and dream about meeting these opportunities were the ones who were vocal. They were the ones who were vocal. And our Black children, they were the ones who were silent because they still can't see themselves in the dream of becoming what we're saying to them they can become. And so it's important for us to start creating work so that our children can see themselves, dream, and become.
Yes. That's a quote.
Yeah, that is a quote. That's power right there. We're going to pick that up. Maybe that'll be a whole panel next year, you know, children in film, telling our own stories, giving a voice. Very powerful, very powerful. Thank you for that.
Yeah. That's a good segue to say bye.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Nice. Oh, this was a beautiful, all the panels have been absolutely divine. So I am thanking my brother. Thank you, brother. He's guiding. He's I tell people I work with 3 people: my grandmother, my mom, my grandmother, and my great-grandmother. Now my brother is here. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, my guardian angels. Thank you, everyone. Today is the last day of the festival. We have an after party. Unfortunately, you can't come here, but we hope to see you at next year's festival. Hopefully it'll be physical. Not hopefully, it shall be in person. No more pandemic. No more pandemic. We wish
Thank
that.
you so much.
So we'll see you then. Take care. Watch all the films. Hope you all got your passes. Did you all get your passes?
Yes. Yeah.
Thank God. They work.
Great programming so far.
Yeah.
Great program.
Absolutely. Incredible program.
Some people have had issues, so I'm so happy you don't have any issues. Judith, you are wonderful. I owe you many.
No, my pleasure. I'm inspired to go finish my little movie I'm gonna talk about making. So I gotta go dust off and get some work done. So thank you all for really, I think your candor and energy has just been beautiful, guys, to witness today. So keep making stories, keep being brave, and know we've got a family around the world to support each other. So yeah, more soon.
Okay, all right. Take care, everyone.
Take care.
Stay safe and stay blessed. Bye.